Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your post-game show. LAFC steamrolling Minnesota, another huge victory. I'm Darren Miller.
I'm Vince LaRosa. I'm laughing because people were putting thick sode in the chat, and that word will never make me not laugh.
I don't.
Where are all these? Wait,
claim it.
Where are all these people coming from in Twitch? Did something happen?
Oh my God, we've exceeded our one Twitch viewer quota. Maybe.
Did you all switch to Twitch?
They found someone.
Wow.
He told one person.
Awesome.
Wow, incredible.
Can you tell how excited I am to talk about the game?
Wake up, everybody! It's time for the post-game show. This was a really interesting. No, it wasn't. What do we say about this game, Vince? We won 1-0. We pulled it out. A rotated defense held on tight and made it happen. They took care of business to the extent that resulted in a win.
I mean, I suppose it was interesting. It was like interesting in like if you just like styles and like the way teams try to play the game, but the way these two teams wanted to play the game. Or I'm not sure how much LAFC had input into the game after their goal. Like they've kind of like, well, Minnesota it wants to chop it up and they want to just go for set pieces. That's fine. We're defending really well, and they did. Their defense of the box was great. All three center backs very good. A lot of desire to be the first to the ball and really make sure that Minnesota wasn't able to dictate what happens in the box, which was very good. On the ball, LAFC definitely, it was clear that they didn't want to lose the ball because they didn't want to be susceptible to the counterattack, especially with Minnesota playing with two very good forwards up top. Most teams will defend and they'll leave like one guy up top, and then you try to work in transition. But Minnesota is a team, one of the few teams that plays with two forwards, so that presents a little bit of a different equation for you when you have the ball. We already know that LAFC is not necessarily the most confident team with a team sitting back and on the ball. So basically, that's what you ended up with, a team that didn't want to give the ball away, so at times didn't really mind having it at all, against a Minnesota team that when they had it don't know what to do with it because they don't want to have the ball at all. And even though they got into their sweet spot of, it felt like 1 million set pieces, LAFC defended it really well.
Yeah.
And, you get 3 points in a place you've never won before. You definitely should have put the game away earlier. Like Bowanga should have scored one of those chances and it shouldn't have been so nervy. But 3 points, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing you take away from it. 3 points, then maybe just how well how much effort the back line put into defending the box. And then a couple guys had some good performances, but not much. You want to really look at this game and say, I think that's the way a lot of other games are going to go. Like this is kind of a one-off. There's not a lot of teams that play in a way that Minnesota plays. So I don't think LAFC, like, you got to wonder what from this game do you take into the Galaxy game and what from this game we won't see anytime soon.
Right. And it seemed like there was a little bit of trying to get some guys some rest for the Galaxy, and other rotations there were obviously less control over. But yeah, I hesitate to call it like a gritty victory. It wasn't super clean, but it also was like I'm thrilled they went to Minnesota and got the job done against the team that's second in the West. Like, how could you not be thrilled by that? I mean, it wasn't a thrilling experience by any means.
Defensively, really strong. Like my happy foot is like a singular happy foot would be Shmolikov, who I thought was very good.
Yeah, on
the left side. We worried about him in his physical battles. We worried about his defensive positioning. We worried about him as 1v1 defending. All three of those, great. I thought both wings were actually very good. They defended the wings very well. Aaron Long's out. The three center backs seem to manage each other's space well. They seem to understand, have a communication. And Nkosi did a good job of kind of captaining the back line. I thought Mark Delgado was very good in the way that Mark Delgado is always very good. He's just that guy that like backs you up and is always there in the right moments, kind of the same way Sergi is. And then, going forward, it wasn't great. It wasn't great going forward. But like I said, that we have a team that playing against a team where you're acutely aware of the problems that they present in transition, and knowing that like you're not necessarily the best at sustaining long possessions with the ball. So you're kind of being a little more timid and just making sure you don't make mistakes versus, oh, Denny or oh, Javiro, just try to go 1v1. If we lose the ball, we'll win it back easy. They weren't. I think they were definitely instructed, like, don't do that. Like, let's not give away the ball cheaply because we're afraid of what will happen going the other way, and especially away from home.
Yes. But yeah, all in all, it's very, I would say, especially with the way the season has gone and the way recent games have gone, it's very heartening to know that we can be in a kind of situation we were in tonight and not look a lot shakier than we looked tonight. We didn't, it wasn't like nobody's beating us, but it was like, we can handle this. This is okay. This is, we came into this game and this week thinking that these two games are going to tell us a lot about the team and we're going to finally learn something. And I feel like we're starting to. I feel like it's what we're like, they're going to tell us what they're made of, and it's not nothing. Like, they're not completely backing down in a game when they could have.
Yeah, I mean,
could have been a really disappointing game.
Regardless,
the bad version of this would have been really bad.
Yeah, again, place you've never won, finally won there. Third win in a row. Great. Like, the team hasn't really put a string of results like this together all season. You know, like you said, I think we learned about them. Like, it was a really good mentality. They had to suffer through the game, and other than Denny not finishing shots, and there was a couple times I screamed at the TV because Denny did that little thing where, like, a defender's or a ball carrier's near him, and he does that jump where he's like, I'm not going to go there. And I'm like, Denny, don't you. And it was towards the end of the game. Like, it was starting to drive me crazy. But everyone else, and I guess if anyone, not that he gets a pass, but Denny sometimes does get a pass because he is also the one scoring the goals. I thought everyone else did their job very well. I think it's not so much a disappointment. I think in this moment, because like I said, I think it is a one-off, but as we see more games in which LAFC are going to be under a lot of pressure, I want them to find ways to put the game back on their terms. And they were able to, at times, win the ball. Like, start of the second half, I was very worried for them. They could not get out of their end at all. And finally, it seemed like every time they tried to clear the ball, they were just trying to go too fast. No one had the composure to just kind of put their foot on the ball and see if we could pass it around the back and maybe in a tight space and get Minnesota to drop back, and then we could get some possession. Then they started to get some possession, and they had not quite the ideas, or they were being a little more pragmatic going forward. I would just like them to not allow a team to dictate the game. Like, Minnesota got the plus is LAFC beat a team that got to play exactly the way they wanted to play, and LAFC still figured it out. The bad side is they let Minnesota play exactly the way they wanted to play. And how many games can you reasonably expect to allow the other team to play the way they want to play and you be able to pull off the result?
That really, you just pinpointed exactly how it felt watching that game. We did such a great job and a really promising message that we did a really good job absorbing them doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And they looked stilted and not that impressive, and we made them look that way, and that's great. But exactly as you said, like, it was still us just being like, yeah, give us your move and we'll see what we can do with it over and over again. It was like a weird chess match that was like, okay.
And LAFC they dealt with it. Like, there really was there was some nervy moments, but could you recall an actual big chance that Minnesota had? No,
I mean, they didn't. There were no instances in that game where I was like covering my eyes being like, oh my God, that was embarrassing. I can't believe we can't deal with that kind of a situation. There were no moments in the game where I was like, wow, they look scary. It was like we really did absorb it, and that's why it looked boring and was boring, and that's really a good thing. But it could, like you said, it could have been a lot better. It could have been us actually controlling it and playing our game. I'll throw one happy foot out there before we go to some super chats. Also, Travis, as you, I'm sure people have noticed by now, Travis is not here tonight. He's on advance assignment, and Carson doing some important investigations for the Saturday match. So we're slightly rotated. We thought it was important for Travis to be out there early.
I've heard that he is not okay with your measurements of Ricky Puig, and he's going to hand measure the man inch by inch.
Yeah, I've heard those rumors as well, and he's welcome to. I stand by my advanced reporting, all of the work that goes into me getting proper measurements. I have many sources. I will not out those sources. But if you want to know what is and isn't bigger than Ricky Puig, I will not. I will defend my measurements to the death. My happy foot tonight is Yaya Boa with a perfect clearance at the end of the match to get the ref to blow that whistle. What an incredible performance from Yaya Boa. Kicked the ball forward and it went fairly far. And wow.
I do love an end of the game
where him on this team.
Where the cameraman's like, I'm not even going to follow the ball. The game's over, right? and
really just put it
waits
away
for the ref. Yeah.
That's
really
why we pay him the medium bucks. Yaya Boa. Should we go to some super chats?
The chat's been hopping. I did catch somebody say like, you're not paying attention to the chat. And I'm like, you guys have been flying. So maybe we should get into the chat.
It's just us. I've been throwing a few chats on, and I just put the whole chat on there. So
okay, smart.
It's getting hard.
Smart. Yeah.
Thank you for some of that. It is alive. The chat is far more exciting and fun than the game was. So thank you for that. But that's usually true. I mean, the chat rules. Okay. Vonamirian with a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Denny almost put a hole in the back of the net. Absolute rocket. Great momentum W ahead of our short turnaround derby match on Saturday. Let's fucking go. Yes. Great PK. Less convincing end to the match for Denny Bouanga.
What was that chip?
He fully ran out of gas.
What was that?
You know, here's the thing. I really like that he seemed to be trying things that were different than the thing we keep seeing him do every single time. It's just like, I was sick of him trying the same shit. So I like that he was trying to get creative. But he was bad at it.
Yeah.
that was bad.
I will say
you got to score one of those, right? Like Dane St. Clair's a great keeper. Maybe he makes a save and you're like, well, great keeper makes a great save. You get one of those.
Yes.
You got to score one.
I will say leading up to the chip, I was happy that he realized, hey, I could pass the ball to somebody and then run ahead and they'll play me the ball back. And then I'll have a better chance instead of trying to run through three guys. And he did that on two occasions. And I was like, this is nice. You kind of figured that out. So I will give him credit for that. However, the finishes left something to be desired.
They were bad. And also, he took too much time to get off the field, and they made him play with 10 men right at the end because of that. I'm not sure if
that could have been very, very detrimental.
Bad.
Yeah,
I'm giving him a pass because, like I said, the creativity, and also I have to believe that in a different situation where like the game wasn't seconds from being over with a W, he would have focused a little more and got the job done. That's just me being hopefully not overly optimistic. Another super chat from Lisa K. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says, I need Vince to discuss the Dyche zone.
Sean Dyche is an English manager who was with Burnley for a long, long time, and then was with Everton recently. And he's known for being super into his set pieces and getting, basically he's old school. He's like, get the ball forward. Let's get the big bodies forward. And let's see if we can make some shit happen. And so that Minnesota, using Dane St. Clair and throwing everyone forward and using long throws, like they were definitely leaning into the set piece acumen of Sean Dyche.
Got it. So is part of their game also forcing set pieces?
Yes.
I'm wondering because the ref loved that whistle tonight. And I'm wondering if that was them trying to make that happen, or it was just the ref being a real weirdo?
Oh no, they wanted no flow to the game, and they knew that.
Okay, so that was working for them.
Yeah, from open play, they didn't feel confident, and I mean, they have been this season one of the best set piece teams in the league. So why not lean into what you do best? And if LAFC is going to just go ahead and give you 15 corners or whatever, why not take them? That you're that much closer to the goal, you can't seem to dribble and or pass your way there. So why not take that free shot that way? But it didn't work. Luckily, LAFC was focused and clued in and set pieces is a lot about desire and wanting to get to the ball first and not, losing, as I said, losing your focus. And they were there for it.
Yeah, one of the play callers called them. I'm gonna butcher it, but something like the best in the world at set pieces.
That was weird.
Something insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't give them that. I think Arsenal is pretty good.
They're up there, yeah.
Yeah, PSG is pretty good. Yeah,
I'm struggling to remember how Minnesota United did in the Club World Cup, but
to be fair to that person, I think then the third name I finally think of is Minnesota United. So I get those first two out.
At least top three.
Yeah.
Wait, that's for later. We have another super chat. Gerardo Rios, 199 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, "Are we back? It's been this long into the broadcast, and we haven't asked the question. Are we back?"
Well, when you win 3 in a row, you're kind of like, I'm used to this now,
I have a feeling what we're going to be in is a situation where I feel like I can't say we're back. Like, these wins are so unconvincing that, like, what's going to happen is we're going to be back.
3 clean sheets in a row, Darren.
Yeah. On paper,
haven't given up a goal in 3 games.
On paper, they're very convincing.
Just don't watch the games. Just don't watch the games.
This is how you know that MLS media doesn't watch the West Coast games, because the way they talk about LAFC is, it's like, oh, you would not think that if you watch the game.
Yeah, they did mention that Nathan Ordaz had a great Club World Cup, and I'm pretty sure he got subbed out 20 some odd minutes into the
they're always talking
Chelsea
about
game
how Bonga's on fire, not just like getting a PK here and there, and how LAFC is so dominant. Like, on paper, I could see why you'd come to those conclusions, but I think what's going to happen is, like, we're not going to notice when we're back. We're not going to be able to pinpoint the time that it happens, and at some point, we're going to be able to be like, oh, I think we've been back.
Yeah.
And that's how the season's going to go. Best case scenario.
It's like a life thing. You never know when your best years are until you look back fondly and go, that was it. That was then.
It's true. We're going to look back on this season with nostalgia. Thank you again for the super chat. Maybe.
But maybe
we'll miss it.
Who knows?
Maybe we'll miss it. Who knows? I mean, Leagues Cup's coming up. That's something.
Nothing like a good Leagues Cup run.
Nothing like Leagues Cup. We've got
that should be their tagline. There's nothing like Leagues Cup, and everyone goes like, yeah, I mean, factually.
Leagues Cup. There's nothing like a Leagues Cup. Leagues Cup. Yep, it's Leagues Cup. LAFC Luke, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in.
Guys.
Thank you for bringing a furry friend. Oh my goodness, dog on the pod. I mean, we can just talk to the dog. This is beautiful.
Yes, it's been fun to be able to watch the game from home, snuggling with the pups. Look, I think I don't want to get into whole are we back before I note he said the Dyke Zone. He did say the Dyke Zone, not the Dyche Zone. He said
Who said?
I mean, like
the commentator said it. Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why the question.
Like,
yeah.
And then like 30 seconds later, he was like, well, of course I mean after Sean Dyke. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what he meant. And then
just keep
going,
leaning in.
Can we talk for just a moment about the bullhorn in the supporter section with the dirge sea shanties all night long? The loons go marching on and on. Hurrah,
it was rough.
Hurrah.
At least we didn't have to hear Wonderwall.
I would have loved. I think they only do it when they win, right? But like after how bad all that was like that's all that they could have done to save Grace. We're hitting my major sad foot here. Is just like their supporter group chants make a broadcast close to unwatchable.
Bad.
I mean, really it's so annoying. It's like I can't think of any like background away supporter group on a broadcast in MLS that's nearly that bad.
There's a few, but yeah.
I mean, there's plenty that are just like lackluster, but their choices are bad.
It's your choices.
Yeah. Yeah. So so that all said, I just want to point out that like after we beat Colorado, we had that early red, and we were like, well, do we know if this is really meaningful? Like, we beat Colorado, and then we beat Dallas, and we're like, yeah, but Dallas are bad. Like, we were supposed to win that game, and now we went on the road, and we beat a team that we've never beaten in their stadium on rotation. Like, we were rotating. Like, I remember first season we went in there, we were heavily rotated. We lost 5-0. Last season, we were heavily rotated. We drew 1-1. Like, and it was the weirdest freaking lineup, and with Aaron Long getting out, it was sort of like, what are we going to do? And like, we went in there, and I understand, Vince, your point about we let them play their game, but we also played our game. And once again, 3 games in a row now, didn't give up a goal. Frankly, didn't really give up much in the way of threat. I mean, Colorado basically never threatened. Minnesota basically never threatened. Denver did, or Dallas did a couple times, had some decent chances. But like, that's something. That doesn't mean we're back. I don't want to get into that whole thing. But that's not nothing.
For sure.
It's not nothing.
It's definitely something. I guess what we keep the other shoe that we keep waiting for to drop must really be about the competition more than anything else, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't who do it's Carson maybe. They're not having the season, so it's like we keep getting into situations where the team we're playing presents a situation where like there's always an excuse to be like, well, what were they going to show us? And Minnesota is like a weak second in the West. Like, I'm not convinced that they belong second in the West. I don't know how other people are. And so we're going to play Carson. And it's like our rivals, and it's going to be great if we can beat our rivals, but we're still going to have, it's still going to be like an inkling feeling of like, yeah, but look at the season they're having. I want to know, like, when is it? What is the team that we're going to play that's like, look, any way you beat this team is huge.
So look,
what do we need to face for that?
I want to point out one other thing, because we keep feeling like in the doldrums, right? Because we had Club World Cup and it was not great. And I think I think in line with Vince on this, like, of the 3 games, we had one poor game, and then we had 2 other pretty strong games, one of them which we lost, the other which we drew. But look, I think if you look at our MLS regular season, since like sometime in earlier mid-May, we've had 1 loss. And that was Vancouver, end of June. That's it. We've had like 12 straight games or something with only that 1 loss in the MLS regular season. I think, people are sort of losing sight because Club World Cup came in and kind of punched us all in the nose. But like, and that Vancouver game, honestly, to me, we just looked gassed. We just looked, because we had put it all out on the field in Club World Cup, for better or worse. And then, we're 5 days later playing Vancouver. But like, I don't know. I just want to point out, like, we're hitting the points where we want to hit them right now, and I don't want us to lose sight of that. That's all I'll say.
I think it's a great point. We should be happy. I think we're in a weird point where it's like what we need to do now is understand what our expectations should be and understand where the bar should be to be happy with clearing it as we move on. I mean, we have the summer transfer window. Barring some real disappointment, I think that we're going to be looking at a different team that has a whole new set of hope and potential. So we're at a turning point here. This week again is going to tell us a lot, and then of course the transfer window is going to tell us a lot more.
But 2 things I just want to note real quick. 1, with our games in hand, if we were to win them, we'd be top of the West. 2, completely separate of that, is that little shout out that we had with the LAFC culture spot during the halftime of the broadcast, where they talked about.
Yes, this is on my Happy Foot list. You were just cutting out. I want to make sure that actually makes it onto the broadcast. There was an LAFC LAFC Republic in the LA Pride Parade covered at the half, which I don't think I've seen much in the way of coverage of anything at halftimes. Newsworthy.
Their video, but I loved it. It was great, and I was like, all right, way to represent. So
that was fantastic.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Luke.
We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, that was really cool. I really don't like, they're not in the habit of being like, here's the thing that happened. It's weird that they're doing it pretty late, but
I'm surprised that they don't take more content from the teams to plug in at halftime, but
agreed. They do to put it on on demand.
We're surprised about a lot of the broadcast decisions that they make, though. So
we are. Yes, we love being surprised. Another super chat from Adam Shazen. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Leagues Cup is a cash grab, but at this point, do we think it's our best chance for a Champions Cup? The way things, I feel like MLS Cup is not wide open, but not out of reach. Once you look at a Leagues Cup, it's like the competition's not easier.
Right. By reaching MLS Cup, you don't even have to win MLS Cup, right? There's so many more chances to get in to the Champions Cup as well. It's Supporter Shield winner.
I thought he just meant he did put capital C Champions Cup, like the Champions Cup, like Campeones Cup.
No, like CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Oh, CONCACAF Champions Cup. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to interpret that. I thought he meant just in general winning a cup.
Oh yeah, sure.
As a champion.
Sure.
But yeah, he definitely means CONCACAF Champions Cup. Yeah, I can't recall all the slots. Can you?
No.
Supporter Shield.
They change it every year.
Cup.
They change it every year.
Miami wins.
And then every year somebody wins gets 2 of the slots, and then they're like, okay, now it goes to the next
right.
one, and you're like,
yeah, there's a waterfall for each one of them.
I can't do it. Yeah, just wake me up when it's a thing. But look, I mean, Luke pointed out if they win all their games in hand, they're top of the conference.
That's a slot, isn't it?
I believe so.
I think it is.
So, but regardless, it's just the team. I get it. The team is winning games, but they're not doing it in a way that inspires a lot of confidence because they don't really play necessarily in a style that inspires a lot of confidence. And we've talked about this off and on throughout the season. They play in a way that's pragmatic. It lessens the risk on one end while basically highlighting their best players on the other end. And really, it's not a system that has a really a good margin for you, right? Like we said, the margin of error within their system is much smaller than you'd like. They rely on not giving up big chances and then getting a couple big chances and understanding that the players that are going to get those big chances are more than likely going to score and they're going to win games that way. Whereas we watch teams around the world or even some teams here in MLS, like the Columbuses, the Cincy's, even Miami at times, they want to dominate the ball and they just want to create a lot of chances. They're going to kill you by a million cuts. They're just going to keep going at you, and that's how they're going to overwhelm you. LAFC just doesn't really do that. And look, there's a lot of ways to win soccer games, and LAFC is winning soccer games in a way that, again, I don't think we find all aesthetically pleasing and makes us a little nervy. And I will readily admit, I don't love that if they're not hitting in the couple of things they do well, the best case scenario is to steal a game or a 0-0. I don't love that. I don't love that that's the way they're kind of set up, right? They're set up to make sure the game stays 0-0 and then their best players do some damage. Whereas, you'd love a team that's no, we're going to run forward, we're going to have the ball, and we're just going to create chance after chance after chance. But if it's effective, it's effective. If they win these games and they win an MLS Cup this way, a 1-0 MLS Cup where there's a million corners from the other team, none of us will ever remember it years later. We'll all remember they won MLS Cup. And I'm not saying that they will,
sure.
But again, there's a lot of ways to win games. It's not always the teams that play the prettiest soccer that win. And we just got to kind of live with it right now. But I think the hope is that they'll show us, because the flip side of it is they have shown us in some games, they can play an exciting game. I'm thinking of Columbus at home. I'm thinking of Miami at home. Where it's a fun up and down, fast paced game where it looks like there was a little bit of risk taken. It looks like they really were switched on to attacking and defending, and they were focused and they had an intensity and they really were into the game. Those are the games we'd love to see every week, but I don't think it's possible to play that game every week, right? It's just your body is limited, and especially when you get into the playoffs and the games come quicker, it's going to be tougher to play games like that. But you have to hope that on the day LAFC plays up to the competition. We've seen them do it, so at least we have that in our back pockets. Whereas if you're Minnesota right now, like you said, soft second in the West, they're we were second in the West, and you go yeah, but what do you have to show for it? What, you're second in the West? It doesn't even really matter at this point in the season. also like no one really believes in you. You're a great set piece team, which could come in handy in the playoffs. Like I could see a world in which Minnesota gets hot set pieces in the playoffs and they put some teams out because that set pieces can be that much more important in tight games.
Yeah.
But their margin seems even thinner than LAFC's margin, right? Like the talent gap is there, right? Whereas we're a very talented team. At the end of the day, I'll stack LAFC's talent up against almost any team in the league. And at least we have that, regardless of style of play, regardless of the margins. And so that's not the most glowing endorsement, but it is something.
It's interesting to look across the league at what the sort of the math, on a grand scale that each coach is trying to pull off here. Vince, no one really believes in you is one of the coldest things you said.
Right.
That was. Let's put that on a shirt. Yeah, that's kind of the double-edged sword of Dolo too. It's like, in a certain sense, like, you can't be, whether you love him or hate him, like you can't be surprised that there's a lot of criticism because he's kind of putting himself up in a risky situation to be on the hot seat because of that small margin. Yep. Where it's kind of weird. Like on one hand, it's a really conservative style of play, and on the other hand, that's what also makes it risky at times. Like toward the end of the match, they were like, "Oh, here's David Martinez who's about to go in for Bawanga." I don't think that ended up happening. Which it seems like, I don't know if that's what was going to happen, and then he pulled it or what. But as they said that, then Minnesota got a corner kick, and it was like, it's a 1-0 game. They could score here, then Bawanga's out, and all of a sudden, our best goal scorer can't put us back on top in like 10 seconds. On the field. So yeah, it's like very risky and very conservative at the same time. We've got another caller here, Joey 1 bar. How many bars you got? Are you hanging out? Or are you coming in? Let's find out. What's going on?
I've got more bars than Luke.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, you do have a strong signal today.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Spectrum auditing the broadcast to see who needs what. He's on our side now, so
he's not on the Discord though, because honestly, I am a little disappointed. I mentioned that Mr. Spectrum is screwing me over because I can't get into Max anymore.
You can't,
which is unfortunate. I haven't been able to see any of the hacks.
Well, Mr. Spectrum is not.
Please evaluate.
He doesn't
that.
give. He's not there to actually help. He's only there to take away and or ignore. So if he's ignoring you, it might be a good thing. But he's not there to help.
So I had an actual pushback, but I spent so long formulating in my brain that I don't know if Vince already answered what I was going to say. But sure. I kind of wonder about I don't know. I really want to pitch to the team being a spiritual advisor because I took chaplaincy classes, and I think maybe that's a weird thing that some teams need. There's sports psychology, but there's also woo-woo spiritual care, let's call it. It doesn't have to be inherently woo-woo. All of that to say, Vince, I was thinking back on the old Black and Gold Takes days and thinking maybe I should just go back and read your Substack anyways because it makes me smarter and a little bit more analytical. But just thinking about how the team guts out wins, it's really kind of nice that in different circumstances, they're able to find a way to get across the line. Not necessarily a thing that LAFC has always been really consistent about or good at, gutting out, in weird circumstances, making a win happen when you need it. So I don't know. I think that's something to be positive about. Happy foot from around the league. Miami got
It's a skill.
spanked.
I would say it is a skill, and not every team has it. Even good teams, there's some good teams where if you punch them in the nose, they're done for the day. I think a lot of people felt LAFC was like that under Bob at times. And this team is
they unraveled a lot. I remember.
Yeah, this team is absolutely not like that. I think there's still some frailties in the mind, in the mentality, especially with the ball. Like we said, that we'd like a little more composure. They do seem a little frightened of losing the ball in bad areas, which generally is a good thing, right? You don't want to lose the ball in bad areas, but also a really high level team takes risks, right? You watch some of those Club World Cup games and teams like Chelsea, teams like PSG, you're seeing them do some shit where you're that's badass. That took some balls to do that. LAFC is not the type of team that really takes risks.
Right. And there can also be a little self-fulfilling prophecy, like we're talking about. I don't personally hold any grudges against Eddie Segura, but some people think he looks like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, don't lose it. And if that's your mentality, it doesn't really lead to like psychological fortitude. You gotta be a little bit optimistic and a little bit brave.
Right.
I will say I am one of those people who thought he always looked like that, and I think he looks a lot less like that these days. He looks a lot more confident on the ball these days.
Yeah, I've been a fan of his since I was first a fan of the team back in 2019. So I can't help but like just take over the overall view of Eddie Segura and feel like, he makes me feel very segura. He makes me feel very safe, and that's the Spanish word for safe. I've never thought of that before. But
wow, you just got there. Come on, man.
Come on.
I was too busy loving Sifu and Profe back in the days. But I also wanted to say, like, from a supporter's perspective, I wanted to push back on a lot of people trashing Minnesota supporters. I think there's a lot to be desired, but I'm sort of seeing it on like a continuum from having been in Orlando and seeing what Flamengo fans showed up like and going like, wow, imagine if we had a few decades of being able to, I got corrected by somebody on Twitch. Shout out to my new Twitch homie.
Mr. Twitch. Mr. Twitch is coming in hot.
I'm trying to be gender inclusive, so
so you can just bend the language, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, Flamengo, it was like after their main group of supporters were done marching past us in full voice, there was another, group of supporters, and it's like that's how you go through the dog days of summer and are able to still chant. And so I, have seen year after year, 32-52 gets tired. I mean, especially with these long slogs of seasons, it's really, really hard. The drum line is not as thick as it was, and it isn't as consistent as it was. And I think it's really hard. So I looked at Minnesota tonight and I said, they have had a pretty decent season. And I'm sure that their supporters have been out there for a lot of the season and they're just tired. And that's all the flowers I'll give them, is I just think they did okay in the circumstances. It is a little bit egregious when you see like how much the megaphone gets played up. And in the early stages of the game, listening to it on TV, I could hear our LAFC supporters and I could not hear their supporters. But it just, I don't know. Let me just say, it's just inspiring me. I think how much better I want to be myself in the 32-52 and how I want the 32-52 to be better as well. I think the team is clicking and I'd like the supporters to also be clicking. So positivity. Yeah, let's go.
It does show how glaring it can be when they falter, when any supporter section falters. That is true. Thank you for joining us as usual. We'll see you soon. Not to belabor the point, but I could not disagree more on the supporters. They're trash, is my opinion. Come at me if you want in the comments. If you're from Minnesota, fine.
Some people are asking about my jersey, Darren.
Oh my God!
It is awesome.
Stand up.
I got it
What's
a couple of years ago. It's from Icarus, who does great historical jerseys. This is a historical jersey commemorating the founding of Los Angeles. So it says 1781 on the back. They have jerseys of like Mesopotamia and just like ancient civilizations too. But they do these like tournaments where a bunch of like local teams, and they'll make jerseys for the local teams. I mean, I would just say check out Icarus FC. Their jerseys are always awesome. This one, unfortunately, I believe is sold out. It was from a couple of years ago, so I don't think you can find it on their website. But look up Icarus Los Angeles jersey, and maybe there's some secondhand. But yeah, this is one of my favorite jerseys for sure.
That's amazing. Icarus FC. Check it out, everybody.
Check it out.
Yeah, that's really cool. I did read in the chat. Everyone liked. I think that the chat was up, and Up was very upset when it came down just because it was covering our caller's entire face.
Covering their face.
It wasn't because I'm mad at the chat, though. I know I've been mad at the chat before. Everyone in the chat is doing great. You're back up now. Please continue.
Was there any other I had seen the jersey one. I know there was some questions that came through and we might have missed them. I don't know if we've already answered them or if there was any other that you saw that were good.
I'm seeing some people comment Daddy Darren, which is a bit that makes me wildly uncomfortable. Although we have a lot of those, this one might take the cake. There are some super chats from Mikey. He says Daddy Darren and the proper emoji. Thank you for the super chat. No, thank you for the super chat. Gerardo Rios with another super chat. Happy foot, Daddy Darren. I'm gonna put this down now.
Can we just name this episode Daddy Darren?
We cannot do that. Manuel Araujo, thank you for the super chat. CCC 5 MLS teams, top 3. What's LC?
Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup. There we go. Top 3 Leagues Cup. USOC champ equals 9 teams.
9
That's
teams.
A lot of math and abbreviations, Manuel. I don't know.
It's a lot of teams. So yeah, Leagues Cup is a good way to get in, but might not be our only way to get there.
Yeah. We made it through this. Those were a tough span of super chats for me.
Some people would be flattered.
Some would, yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Some would, not this guy.
No, you're doing the right thing. I do appreciate it. What have we not covered here? Hollingshead, is he injured? What was that at the end there?
The guy shoved him.
So he was just playing it up, maybe.
Shook him up a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
But he finished the game.
He did. Okay, this is... I'll cave, guys.
And the one below it, too.
Oh, boy. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out. Truly, the chat made this, and this live stream was easily.
People want to know about the rumored signing from today. Mathieu
rumored signing LAFC.
Choinière, I believe. Choinière, I think is how you say it. Yeah, midfielder.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We haven't done this in a while, but I have to interrupt you for another super chat. Adam Shason comes in. Thank you so much for the super chat.
That's a way to bring it all the way together. Thank you.
I will admit I did get excited about that because I misread it at first as Daddy Vince.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm splitting the difference here. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry, the rumored signing.
Do you know what my first thought on Choinière was? Okay, so Mathieu Choinière, he's been at Grasshopper, which actually is a team owned by LAFC, or owned by the company that owns the conglomerate that is LAFC. But before he was at Grasshopper is
a nice nonprofit community organization, Vince.
Grasshopper is in Switzerland. Before he was at Montreal, he's a Canadian international and just played in the Gold Cup. To my eyes, he's just an all-around midfielder. He's very similar to like a Tillman Delgado type. Probably could play a defensive midfielder in a pinch, can push him a little bit more forward, although he's not necessarily a 10. Better maybe passer in tight spaces than any of those guys, so maybe some more creative passing. But my first thought was, we haven't seen in a while, and it makes me wonder, Odin Thiago Holm.
Yeah.
Is that guy gone?
LAFC too, right?
I guess. Or so I just wonder if they're just he's been injured off and on. We've seen him a couple minutes. It's just not clicking. So let's get another guy in here. Cause like I said, he very much is just an all around midfielder. He's not heavily on the creative side. So he really is kind of a similar profile to Delgado, Tillman. I don't know if they just thought they needed more in there, because they still have Amaya, who also hasn't played a ton and has been hit or miss at times. So I don't know. Maybe they just want more consistency. I mean, it would be nice if Delgado and Tillman could get a couple more games off, because they do a lot of work there in the midfield. But yeah, he's like I said, a solid signing, especially depending on how much they paid for him. I would guess maybe he's a TAM-ish player, but he knows the league. Played pretty well for Montreal, so solid signing, but not one I expected. I still think
is this a done deal? Is this definitely happening?
It's from the places that are reporting it. Bogart's on it. I believe it was actually Paul Tenorio with The Athletic that was first with it. Two sources that you can trust.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes me feel it's out of left field a little bit, but I still feel I don't feel like it changes any other plans. I still think a center back's going to come in, and I wouldn't be surprised if both DP slots are filled. So we're still talking possibly 3 more players. So there'll be 4 players in this window Be a lot of movement.
Yeah. I'm looking for. I just like new blood. At the same time, I don't think we were super convinced and excited about how Delgado and Tillman were playing in the midfield when they first started playing together, and I feel like they've found a groove now. Like I feel good seeing them there together in a way that I didn't at the beginning of this. And also, yeah, to your point about. Sorry, go ahead.
They look the worst when they're not fresh.
Yeah,
and I think that's what the thought is with this. Is
that's what's happening with a lot of guys. It seems like right now.
Sure, I mean honestly, that's like the top question on the minds of almost every like buddy running a football team, because there's so many games now. And what do you do when your guys are tired? You know your best lineup. You want to roll out your best lineup, but how far is too far? How many guys can you rotate out, keep them fresh without losing continuity and losing games? I don't know if that means no Gio Reyna, if I'm being honest. Gio's a lot more of an offensive profile than Choinière is. So
this is if you're just listening and not watching, LAFC by Vet asked us, does this signing mean no Gio Reyna? Would it not make sense at this point, getting two midfielders to join?
I still think some creative passing would be good. I don't think Choinière is like, I think he's more creative of a passer, but not like by leaps and bounds. He doesn't have a ton of assist numbers. He's more of a ball retention, ball recovery, like I said, all around midfielder. So I could still see a Gio Reyna type player come in.
It'd be nice. We are getting a lot of transfer questions at this point. Earlier, I saved Vince. Please explain the Miami loan. Does that mean we can do the same thing now?
Theoretically, it means we can.
From Adrian Estrada, dude, how does Miami keep getting DP players without paying DP money?
Theoretically, I would believe it means we can, right? If it now,
for those unaware, can you catch us up on exactly what happened?
So Rodrigo de Paul is coming from Atletico Madrid. He obviously plays with Messi in Argentina and is known as Messi's like on the field bodyguard. Like he's Messi's best buddy, like on and off the field. And they're bringing him in, and he is definitely of a DP level. Like the rumored fee that it will cost at the end of his loan is 15 million or 15 to 17 million. So definitely a DP, right? But he's on loan. He's coming on loan for the season. And generally speaking, as we've talked about, like if you're going to be on loan and you're a DP salary, like they're not going to just be like, well, he's not a DP until he's yours. Like he's making DP money. He's got to be a DP. We're not giving you a free swing at this. The only way, but they are, and because they have three DPs. They have Sergio Busquets, they have Leo Messi, and they have, oh my God, they have so many DPs. It's hard to keep track of them now. Jordi Alba is their other DP. And none of them seem to be leaving, although there was rumors that Busquets was going to retire, but it seems like that's not going to happen until the end of the season. The only thing I can think of is they're paying, let's say, like 500,000 for a loan fee, which would make him TAM, and then Atletico is saying, well, we'll pay his entire salary. So he's not actually making a salary, which I still don't even know if that's exactly how it works. But that's the only thing I can think of. That seems like an
easy loophole, though, that you can just be like,
well, most teams
just come in if people are willing to be like, we're just going to pay you not much now, and then we'll pay you way more when we can make you a DP next year.
I mean, most teams, when you go on loan, like you pick up the player's fee, like because when you go on loan, you don't have to pay anything, right? So the team, the team loaning the players, like, we're not just going to give you our player for free for a year to do whatever. Like you got to pay the salary instead, right? Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know how it makes sense, but theoretically, if they can do it, yes, we can do it.
We just have to know exactly how they did it. Is that something that will be transparent in any way?
I highly doubt it.
Cool. Love it. But you got to think that Thorrington can figure out, if he doesn't know already, how they pull that off.
Also, you got to think it as much as like we want to throw a fit, like, yeah, GMs, like they would throw a bigger fit if they knew for sure that like it was not something you could do. Like it seems so obvious. But maybe you just can't, not everyone can pull that off with another team. So I don't know. Theoretically, yes, we can do it.
Yeah. Let's do it. We can do it. We're allowed to do it. Were there were other questions? Mueller to LAFC seems to have cooled down. I don't know that we would. I feel like it left off at a place that was like, the next time we'll hear about this is that it happened, or we won't ever hear about it again.
You'd also think, regardless, right? He's getting up there in age. He played a whole season with Bayern, then played the Club World Cup. The Club World Cups, they lost in the later rounds, so I think they've been off for maybe like a week and a half. Like, he would be on. You got to figure he'd go on vacation, right?
Sure,
regardless,
sure.
And also the window doesn't
He
open
deserves a
to
vacation
the 24th. Yes, we haven't heard much more, but like what we were hearing was basically like you said, Darren, like it was one step away from either it's going to happen or it's not. So
yeah,
there's not really much more to hear.
Maybe we're launching the LAFC branded version of the Airbnb experiences where, if you're a prospect, you go on a nice vacation with the vacation expert LAFC ambassador, Carlos Vela. No one vacations like him, and no one knows LAFC like him. So that's what's maybe happening is Carlos Vela is wining and dining him in the Alps.
I mean, that'd be cool.
It'd be nice.
Can we sign up for that?
No.
Okay.
This is not public facing.
We have to actually be,
we have to be good enough to maybe be on a team.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I don't know. Those dreams died a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Another super chat. Speaking of dead dreams, Mikey, if you see Darren at BMO, call him Daddy. Please don't. I saw the tactics from Mikey here, who made this comment and then was like, "Fuck it, I'm going nuclear," and made it a super chat and commented again as a super chat. I'll give it up for that. Touche.
I understand.
William Lamb with another super chat. Thank you so much. Only one goal. Hopefully LAFC beats Galaxy for now. I've seen also in the chat news of Austin scoring and that game looking good. Yeah, I feel like we're in a really good spot to beat the Galaxy, so I really hope that happens. And I agree. And we play these 1-goal games, but I will still be surprised if that's what happens against the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, 1-0 game seems crazy.
That would not happen, even though it's like all we do otherwise. But
yeah, but not that game.
Not that game, no. Which we will all be at this match on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah,
come say hi. We're gonna hang out at the tailgate. We'll do a meetup. Let's do a meetup at the tailgate before the match. Come say hi.
We're trying to get everyone together. We might take a photo.
Photo 6:30. Take a photo.
Yeah, try to be there by 6:30, and we can all take a photo.
Another super chat, Timothy Peters. Thank you. No Travis or talk, just Daddy and Vince have my money. This is not a competition, guys. I like that we have accidentally fallen into like weird like set rotations of sorts. It's like different set squads here. Jeff Talk, Heel of the Foot. I think after a win like this, too scared to come on the show. Too scared to be the heel. Who would want to after a game, after an incredibly convincing steamrolling victory?
It's tough to find material after these couple of games. He'll be back though, guaranteed.
He always comes back. He's like a parasite or cancer. Sometimes you do beat cancer, which is a promising thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. I think that's all we got, right? Like, yeah, we did it.
It's a school night. It's a school night, people.
It's a school night, guys. It's a clinical victory for LAFC. I'm going to call it a clinical victory for us and the chat on the live stream. We'll see you guys soon. Come hang out on Saturday.
Yeah, we made it Christmas Tree Lane. If you want to know where we are, I would say go near where the tacos and things like that are. I think that's a good spot to find us.
If you're going to be looking for me on a match day, it's probably going to be near Urias Vasquez. That's a good bet. Yeah.
And I can't blame you.
Yeah, that's where I'll be. Not right there. Let's not affect their business negatively. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. A late buzzer beater super chat from Existential Dad.
Maybe the best one.
Much. Hello Kitty night? What about Hello Daddy night?
All right. And on that one.
Okay. Yeah. What about it? I
What
don't
about
know. What does that
Thanks.
mean? I don't want to dissect this, but I don't know what that means.
Thanks, everybody.
I do love it.
I don't
All
know
right.
who won. I don't. By the way, I don't Fluffhead. I don't know who won the Hello Kitty. We'll let Travis decide that. I don't.
Is there a
I
Hello
can't even
Kitty giveaway happening?
remember. He said something in the episode. He was going to give away the Hello Kitty, but I don't know how he made the decision on that. So I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to speak.
He
for
at
him.
one point randomly said, "Throw a cat in the chat, and I'll give away a Hello Kitty doll." That was wild.
Yeah. So maybe he's
Okay,
picking
that's up to
somebody. I
him.
don't. Yeah, that's up to him. That's on. Let's just put it this way. It's on him. Blame him if you think you should have won.
Always blame
and
Travis.
You didn't.
Huge mantra of the show. Always blame Travis. Also, on a related note, Noah Riff, our friend from Lobbing Scorchers, is holding an LAFC Hello Kitty hostage right now. So I'm not sure what the move is there to solve that problem, but it is a major issue that we need to solve somehow. Just keep an eye on it, stay on top of it. We'll figure out what to do when the time is right.
Yeah, we're monitoring it
to bring her home. Okay, that's it.
That's good.
That's it.
Yeah, just
I love
hit
you.
end.
Bye.
Bye.